that the things that I thought I wanted, I was like going into these spaces and I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. Ooh. Oh my God, I hate this. And I had been dreaming these things up for years.
What's up? Hey, Mom. What's up? Hey, Mom. What's up? Hey, Mom. What's up? Hey, Mom. What's up?
Well, welcome back to this week's episode of Moms Actually. We have Jade here.
Yes.
Hello, welcome to our home for the week. We are so excited.
It's beautiful.
Isn't
okay.
it? So
it's a whole like situation.
Yes.
Okay.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. First off, the weather is incredible outside.
It
It's
is.
like that perfect like spring, warm but not hot.
Yes.
And in Texas, that's like a dime a dozen. Okay, because it's about
It
to
did
be
it for
hot.
us.
Yes.
All right, but it's beautiful. The water's right outside.
Yes.
Like this house is gorgeous. Y'all,
Giving
like
peace.
everyone, it's giving peace.
It's giving peace.
So yes, I feel great.
Yes.
I feel great.
We're really excited to have you. I am Morgan. This is Blair. So let's get started.
Let's get started. So you've watched this before, so you know we usually start with a game. So we are gonna do a rapid fire for It's Giving Motherhood. So we are gonna ask you a question and you tell us your immediate answer.
Ooh, okay.
The first answer
It's the right answer.
always.
Okay.
You ready? Toddlers.
Ooh,
Is that the word?
That's it.
I got 2 at home. Yeah.
Self-care.
Oh, like fill up.
Okay.
Like fill me up.
All right.
Yeah.
Date night.
Oh, my husband.
No.
I just like love him so much.
Hair.
Chopped it off.
Okay.
Stepmom.
I love it. It's not easy, and it's a place that I'm trying to grow in still,
Okay.
getting used to. Yeah, yeah.
Postpartum.
Ooh, I'm coming out of it, and I'm feeling better than the last 2 times I came out of it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
And the last one, lipstick and curls.
Oh, sometimes I miss her. Sometimes I miss her, but ooh, why am I already getting emotional?
okay.
Sometimes I miss her, but I'm happy to be Jade Godbolt now. So yeah.
What do you miss about her?
Oh man, how am I already emotional?
It's fine. This is why we're here.
Didn't expect it?
At all.
We got
Like I did not. I've actually never. I've told this part of my life multiple times, and I never really get emotional. But I don't know. It's the energy in here. But I miss her in the season of just like excitement and opportunity and just what it's like when you're single and you don't have any kids and you don't have a husband and everything is so like evergreen and it just and that excitement is what I miss the most, and also feeling very confident in myself and who I was at a time. I think like as I became a wife and a mom, you know, you have those seasons, and y'all know it's like you kind of question yourself and also like where God has taken me in growing as a person. Like I'm not her anymore, and I had to go through like times of like grieving her but also not looking at her as if she was bad or if she was, you know, not worthy. It was just a matter of like, there's evolution and change in life, and you grow as a person, and it's okay to miss who you were at a time. And so it's a kind of that balance of like reminisce, but don't regret, you know, and like don't stay there too long because then you start living in the past and not in the present. So that's kind of like where I've been with her is like, you know, I love that time of my life. I love what it represented for me, but she's gone. So
I love that because it actually goes into one of the first questions I wanted to ask you is like, at what point, because I've actually been following you
Stalking.
for over 10 years.
no way.
yes.
Morgan, what?
Yes.
I did not know this.
Yes, I have been a loyal Lipstick and Curls follower.
Oh my gosh, okay, maybe so that's why I'm feeling emotional, because you're the one with the history.
Yes.
Okay, maybe that's, I don't know, I'm thinking of something where it's
Picking up
like,
the-
y'all know what it is for some reason, and
Yes.
like, we can all like reminisce about her a little bit.
No,
Yeah.
truly. So I remember like following you, and this was like your journey and everything, and then just to see you evolve. And I wanted to know, like, at what point in your life did you decide you wanted to pretty much just change the way the world knew you? Because you're doing it like publicly, like you're literally evolving in a different way. And I know we all evolve, right?
Yeah.
But in the way that you're doing it it catches my eye intensely.
I mean, thank you for saying that, because, you know, I've talked about this here and there in this new part of it, because I think it's like been this journey that I've been on. But it's definitely been like spirit-led and not something I planned. Like God told me to change my name, so I changed it. There was no strategy. There was no, I mean, y'all, I even went on YouTube and I'm like, how do you do a rebrand? Like, how do you do that?
The YouTuber YouTubing.
Truly, like,
that's
how do
something-
you know, because it's a heavy lift, honestly. It's not easy. Like, I had so many like articles, press things, all mentioning Lipstick and Curls, but not my actual name, which also I'm using my married name now, Godbolt. My name before was Jade Godbolt. So even when I was referencing like SEO, just SEO alone, is like I lose all that decade, over a decade of data and searchability and things, and people knowing me as that. And so that was hard. And so it wasn't like I wanted to do it. It was like, if I don't listen to him, it's gonna be bad. So like, let me obey. And I just started that, and he kept pushing on me to like talk about him on my platform. And I remember like praying and being like, first off, I don't want to do this. Let's just put that out there. I don't want to do it. Okay. And also it's like, I also don't want to make my content all about you. Like I did not want that.
That's
with
bold
him.
though.
I did not want it. And yet he was like, you have to. Like, you have to. And so I just started, and it just continued. Here we are.
Listening to a sermon at church. I can't remember if it was Pastor Manny Arango or if it was Travis Green. But they were talking about, you know how like Peter's name was changed, a lot of the disciples' names were changed, and he was saying their names weren't really changed. It was their original names that God had called them. So it's like not what the world called them or their mom. It's like it was like God brought them back to their original name. And I heard you say like you didn't want to talk about it, like because again, you're known for beauty and fashion, and your audience is so broad. And I'm sure you're afraid to kind of like lose those.
Oh yeah, and I did. Like you do. The thing is, you do, and that's in the social media world. It's like, how do you feel when you lose followers? Well, no, it's not how do you feel when you lose followers. How do you feel when you lose thousands? And you not only lose thousands, but you also don't have the same sort of engagement with people as you did before. So it's like also, which this is kind of deep, but it's a real thing. It's also like, once I changed the way that people were able to categorize me or use me, which was idolizing my hair, idolizing like my life, idolizing anything. They didn't want me anymore. So it's like I had really created Lipstick and Curls into an idol. And I had presented that to people.
My goodness.
And they picked it up. It also became an idol for me. So I had to break it down.
And that's why God said no more.
But I have a question, because God talks to us. God tells us to do a lot of things.
Here we are.
And usually we say no, like, or we keep going regardless. So what?
Because you don't want to let it go.
Right. So what made you say yes to something you didn't? Because again, just because it's God don't mean we just be like, yup, and do it.
And
like, what made you say?
In addition to that question, before you answer, is have you always even been so strong in your faith?
Absolutely not.
So, because I know you talked about that too. So that's something in conjunction with the question, because for someone not to be that strong in their faith and to hear God and say, I know this is your voice and I'm still going to obey. That's
a double whammy right there.
That's huge.
Been in it, don't follow.
And that's the thing, I think, why God is being so specific with me and using me in this way is because he built me up in this platform to be one thing. And this is the thing, Lipstick and Curls was a blessing at a time, right? So it's like understanding when it's time to move. Like when the cloud moves, you go with the cloud, right? So it's like at its season, like Lipstick and Curls was this platform, this avenue that allowed me freedom of expression and to build a name for myself, but also to support my family and buy a home and take care of my, you know what I mean? It did so many things, but it also came with this other side of it, which came with entitlement, which came with like, you know, I had a lot of yes people around me and kind of started feeling myself to a certain degree. And it wasn't until like wifehood and motherhood came in the door where I was like, oh, I'm not. It's humbling. It's humbling. It's very humbling. So like to the point of like, you know, I grew up considering myself a Christian, but I didn't grow up going to church. I did not see myself as somebody who I never did Bible studies like that. I never was not that person. I was not. But I will say that throughout my whole life, I always had this special connection with God that I would notice and I understood, but I didn't have the language for. So like, I always talked to him, but in my mind, it was like me talking to myself, but it wasn't. It was, because for some reason, I always felt like there was something there responding in a way. And it wasn't with words, but I just knew that I wasn't just talking to myself, it was something bigger. So fast forward, when I even took the leap to just do Lipstick and Curls full time, which was in 2016, I was in my last semester of grad school. And so I was like, okay, I guess I got to go get a real job now because I had been building Lipstick and Curls since, like 2010. And
she says she knows.
Yeah, a long time. And I really wasn't getting paid. Like there wasn't this concept of like being able to do it for a living, And so I didn't have that anticipation, but as I got closer and closer to actually deciding to go full time, it was like this like thing in my stomach and my soul was just like, you do this.
Yeah.
And God made other things that I was trying to go do uncomfortable, that the things that I thought I wanted, I was like, going into these spaces and I'm like, oh my God, I hate this. Ooh. Oh my God, I hate this. And I had been dreaming these things up for years. And, I would always kind of invalidate Lipstick and Curls because I'm like, at that time, I'm like, I don't want to tell people I do YouTube. And they're like, what is YouTube? Like, what do you mean you do YouTube? And I'm like, even I tell this story all the time.
YouTube was only like 4 years old in 2010. It was a baby still.
At that time, but even in 2016.
Oh, wow. Yep, 2016
I was not telling people. It was like my two worlds that I had, my internet life and my real life. And I would not tell people because I would just be embarrassed by it for some reason. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I feel like old school YouTubers would understand this.
No,
like,
I think it's
right now. Telling people you have a podcast.
Yeah. My daughter literally, 2 days ago, she was like, Mom, I really don't know how to tell people what you do. I was like, got it.
Yeah,
thanks.
right. Like, it's a thing. So it's still very fresh and new in a certain way. So like, I would not tell people, even though I had this large following already and like people knew me from this, but I did not tell people. And so when all these things were kind of like going awry, I was like, okay, I actually was about to quit Lipstick and Curls in 2015, like the end of 2015. That's a whole nother story. But I was basically like, I'm gonna put Lipstick and Curls down so I can focus on my career because I'm a grown up. Like I gotta.
What was the career?
The career was actually in student affairs and higher education.
Okay.
So like so like I had my master's in education policy and leadership, focusing on like student affairs. I wanted to be a VP of student affairs. I wanted to go get my PhD. I wanted to do all this stuff, right? All these plans were not his plans, clearly. So I going through my last semester, it's getting worse and worse and worse. At this point, I'm still like, I'm kind of not doing Lipstick and Curls anymore. I need to focus. And then I literally get an email from an agency asking me if I wanted to be in a Colgate commercial. And I'm like, huh? Yes. For what? And then they were like looking for beauty bloggers. And I kept telling them, I'm like, I'm a YouTuber. Like, I'm not a blogger. I mean, I have a website, but I'm not a blogger. And they're like, we don't care. And so we were shooting this, international commercial for Colgate in Miami. And Mariana Hewitt is like the other girl that they got. And I didn't even know who Mariana was. She's like the biggest beauty blogger in the world. I don't even know who she is. Yeah. And so, she's got her photographer, she's got, her team and stuff at the set. And I'm like, hello. Right. And I asked the agency people, I'm like, how did y'all find me? And how did you, because I didn't have management at this time. I had let go of my manager at the time. And they were just like, we sent 200 names to the brand and they picked you. Yeah. And I was like, okay, God. So I'm there and I'm sitting in front of the cameras and it's I've never been on a set like this before. I never experienced, but I was just I felt a peace and a very comfort there. Mm-hmm. I was not nervous and I was just like, oh my God, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. And so one thing led to another. I get back home and then I get a cold email from this woman who ends up becoming my manager. She's based in LA. And then literally a week or two later, I meet my husband, the man who would become my husband. And then he found me because he was looking for influencers for his job, for Nike. So it was like, okay, God, if you don't, I mean, what else can you tell me to do?
Yeah. So it was like
that's
one thing after
another going well, where I was like, all right, so I guess I'm not supposed to get a real job. I guess I'm supposed to like be lipstick and curls. A traditional job. Now I'm comfortable saying it's a real job. Okay, content creation is not, you know,
it's not a game.
Okay, but back then, especially, I was still like, parents who just paid for my graduate school, are y'all gonna be okay?
Ooh.
But they were. Okay. My dad was like, why didn't you think about doing this before? And I said,
I was trying to make you proud.
You didn't say that when you were signing these checks for this private institution education. But anyway, so yeah, but that was the first time that I really took a leap of faith and followed what God was telling me, and actually, I would say halfway recognized that it was God. I was still like, okay.
I think it's always that uncertainty, which is good. When you are fully certain, then you don't have any faith to lean on.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and even like in my, you know, kind of like I guess baby Christian-y, not really baby, you know, like I didn't know. I didn't have friends that were. That was not my world. So like, I was just like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna do the thing that I'm scared of and just go with it. And lo and behold, like I recognized later that was signs in that season showed me that like, that's how God moves for me. That's how he communicates with me. Those are the things that in little ways that I remember, like personal things where I'm like, okay, God, like when you start moving like this, when my life starts looking like this, that's how I know you want me to do something. Yeah. So bringing it all the way back to this season for me, it's like he started doing things like that. He started allowing things to get real uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, this feels like that season. But this time it was, you know, a totally different version. And it was like, it wasn't just about me. It was like my husband, my kids, like my livelihood, like my brand. And it was like, I knew that he had given me the platform, but now he was like, I need it back. And I was like,
that's a word in itself.
It is.
My goodness.
And people like to think that's not God. They think if he's given you something, it's got to go
but
forever.
That's not. It's like you got to go where the cloud goes. And honestly, when he says, give it back to me, like, you know, like Abraham and, you know what I mean? Like that whole story is the same. It's like, are you going to give it back? And if you do, he'll redeem it and make it more and all those things. So I am trusting and expecting him to do the same now. And honestly, now that I'm here, I do feel more confident, more sure of myself. I'm a healed person now. So now when I do things with my platform, there's just a different level of me involved in it. And it feels so good. And I think like if I could have told myself before the rebrand and all that, like I would tell myself, it's gonna feel good again. Right. It's gonna feel like you again. It's just, you're going through a season of transformation. So what you like now, you're not gonna like then. And the things that you like then will not be things you like now. And so you have to trust that like, if you feel resistance, go, keep going. You gotta just keep going,
How did that affect you with like friends? Like you talk about losing followers, but when you change your lifestyle, like how did it affect your friendships?
Well, I did lose some friends along the way, but the interesting thing of the timing of this too was like with COVID, it was like, you know,
everybody,
you know, you ain't seen
I feel like everybody lost friends.
Because it really showed you like who's really about that life and who's about you. And for us, like we were living in Portland for a time, and we had this like incredible like young couples, professionals like community that we had built and loved them so much, but when we left Portland, that broke, you know, not broke in the sense of we're not friends anymore, but it was like, we're not going to each other's houses. It changed the dynamic, right? So, and so like when we came back to Dallas, we were both, you know, we have roots here. So we, you know, we knew people, but we had changed. So it was like, I'm not interested in rekindling all my friendships from before. And I'm also, for whatever reason, God is keeping that separation. And when we would try to reconnect or try to do things in our old lives, it just would not work out, wouldn't stick. So we got very isolated. And sometimes that sucked, but also it kind of cleared the field for like the community that we have now, which has been so like a blessing and so fruitful, and just like the type of friends that I'm so grateful for, but I couldn't have had prior to this kind of evolution of myself and even of my husband. Like, we've been very vocal in public about our transformation. And like, it's real. It's like people go, but like, again, God redeems. So it's like, if you want friendship, you're going to get that 10 times full.
You have to leave space for him to fill it. Yeah.
It's so weird that like, I'm having a moment right now because literally, I would say right before I left to come film this, God, I was sitting in a worship moment, and I was just kind of being still, and God kept saying, I'm going to replace it before you even lose it.
Oh, wow.
And it just kept coming, and it kept coming, and I'm hearing you speak, and even hearing that, it sounds good, right? It sounds like, oh my gosh, like I won't even recognize before it's lost. But now hearing you speak, I think it's something to even like go a little bit further with people who feel like I've lost it, but it's already been replaced. Like before you even knew that it was like it was already
you don't have to see
there.
it for it
You don't
to
have
be
to
replaced.
see it
because it just means God's already done it.
It's already done. And that's the thing I feel like was a big game changer for me too, was like when I stopped thinking that I had to make it all happen. Like, you got to go out and get it. Well, really, when you're a daughter of the king, no, you don't.
Period.
You just don't. And so it's like, how much stress do we carry on a regular basis thinking that it's on us?
Yes.
Like, it's our burden. Like, it's our thing to lift up, carry, take to the... It's really not. And I've allowed that not just to penetrate my professional life, but also like my home life. And like parenting, especially. Like me and God parent together. Okay? We are lockstep. Like,
You the daddy too.
Yes.
You the daddy too.
Like, you filling up the gaps, like in a real way, because like I realized once I started integrating in one section of my life, God wants it all. So he kind of like
just here.
Right. He's like, no, I want it all. And he's not gonna push you. He's just gonna be like, I'm waiting on you, but I want it all. Like, so you do it on your time. It can take you 2 days. It can take you 20 years. But like, it's on your time, and I'll enter in wherever you open the door for me. That's how he works.
That's so good. Speaking of like parenthood, I feel like practically as moms, we all know that when you're reinventing yourself and when you're going through the journey and adding parenting and you just had like 2 fresh babies pretty much back to back. Like all of that in the same time. What is that like? Because you also mentioned like postpartum.
You're rebranding and a baby just...
So it's like
That's not a
rebirthing everything. It was hard. I had to go to therapy. I had to, because like in the beginning of the transformation, the real true like change my name part of it, which was more of the latter, but kind of like the most intense.
Did that like
I want to say 2022.
Like the end.
No, 2020, because we're in 2023 now. So 2021, it was the fall time. It was like October, and it was right after. It was right after I had my son. My son Micah was born July 2021, and I changed my name October 2021 because it was very short after. So
it's something after you have these boys.
They be changing my life.
It'll do it.
Changed my life. Okay, changed up my whole life, and so like that's when I kind of started. That's when I first chopped my hair, like the first chop. Which my hair used to be like down to here, curly. So it was long and huge, and that was my namesake and everything. Clearly, I'm like bald head era, and I love it. Okay, just it's FYI. Thank you. But I chopped it to like above my shoulders, and that was kind of the first iteration of the rebrand and kind of just the new me.
And wearing it straight too.
And wearing it straight.
You started doing it straight. You said no more curls.
So much work. And when I had the time, it was great. I loved it. And I love natural hair. Like, the thing is, I love anything beauty. Like, I'm just obsessed with different looks and different, just how you can transform into like different sides of you with a different hairstyle. Like, I'm obsessed with that. That's like, that was the meat and potatoes of Lipstick and Curls, which was like, be whoever you want to be. And the essence of even Lipstick and Curls, which is still evident for me now, is like, be who you are and just enhance. It's not about completely transforming the way you look to be something else or be somebody else, but it's about how do I exude like the inner person best outwardly. And so like I've always had that essence in Lipstick and Curls, and even till now. So it's like my hair has always been like a representation of like where I am as a person.
Right.
And, you know, so when I started chopping the hair, people noticed, obviously, when I started wearing it straight, it was like, I wanted to make it clear, this is not about me not loving natural hair or curly hair or even my own hair or my own, it's not about that. It was behind closed doors, I was burning it down an idol. So like I had to do that. And I had to, and literally God was like, you don't wear your hair curly, because it was tempting.
Yeah.
Even when my hair was short and I would wear it curly, it was tempting for me to fall back into who LipsticknCurls was.
Right.
And because that was just my natural habit.
Yeah.
So even through this process, it was hard because my natural instinct is to still do a beauty tutorial. My natural instinct is to
Which I think is still fine, because now you're marrying the two.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
You're
in that
doing it
season,
as you.
Yes.
Yes.
And not like this thing that I had built.
Yes.
Yes.
And that, but I had to take a break. I had to like, you know, work through that, because it wasn't like I could just decide today that I was Jade Godbolt and tomorrow still be okay to do, no.
Because you would have just been convincing yourself it's different because you changed your name.
Yes.
It's different because
Yeah.
But
it wouldn't have
wasn't.
been a heart change.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't. So I had to get rid of the thing, my hair, that was pulling me back into doing, and that's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah.
What is
Yes.
that thing? And a lot of times it's like people don't want to look at it because it's like it brings you so much, but it's like I made money from my hair. Like I made money from my face. I made money from this beauty content. And so when God was like, change, shift, I was just like, I'm gonna lose brand deals, and I did.
Yeah.
Am I gonna lose opportunities? Yeah, I did, because I wasn't being what people associated me to be anymore, and that was hard. That was a whole thing in itself, because it's like, you know, like whenever God is like, you know, to the rich young ruler, give me everything, sell yourself stuff, go and follow me.
Yeah.
And he like, nah. Like people
Wait a
are
minute,
like,
it's not making sense.
It's not, and it don't make sense, and it's so scary. It's so scary.
That's him then.
But it's
Extremely.
him, because you're like, okay, God, if you're doing this and you're telling me to do this, I have to believe that you're going to provide for me along this journey, and I can't allow even my hair to be what I rely on. Like, I know if I do a bomb hair tutorial and do this, I know like the brands are going to notice, and I'm going to be able to do this, and I know how to work it. I had to stop doing that because it was removing space for God to do what he was trying to do.
Right.
I think it's a
And-
lesson to your daughter too, as you evolve, almost like teaching her. I know she's young,
Yeah.
but like you're literally evolving in front of her eyes as well, and teaching her how to like let God strip you completely, because it's totally different. And I know kids are young, but they notice the small things, and they notice like how we even change in our mannerisms and the things that we do. And I think it's just very, very like cool to see, I'm sure, of like your daughter, you know, looking at you.
She definitely notices, because I mean, she wants to do everything I do. Like if I'm doing my makeup, she want to do her makeup. And even now it's like me and my husband like produce a podcast and we like do content all the time. And she's like, are you going to the photo shoot today? Or are you doing the podcast today? And I tell her yeah or no, and I bring her in. Like I'm honest with her, because I'm like, she's gonna grow up with like, first off, the fact that my daughter is gonna grow up with a healed Jade is like already like different. The fact that she's gonna grow up with like a healed dad, it's just already so beyond what I could ever imagine for her. So now it's like I really see like my journey as a mom as like this journey that I take with my kids of like being very transparent and honest about what it means to be a woman. And showing them like the ebbs and flows of that, but not from a place of like toxicity and like unhealed trauma, but from a place of like grace and like mercy, and just being this gentle comforter that they know as, and they can see elements of God in as their mom, you know what I mean? And like even the way that I treat my husband, like I was not always gentle. I wasn't always like sweet, you know.
And that's what I was going to ask. What's been the evolution of your relationship from like the beginning? Like, did you guys both evolve? Like, were you guys in tandem the whole time? Were you first? Like, how did that?
Well, really, it was. It's funny. Like, we've really been in tandem. Really, he's always set the tone, though. Like, my husband grew up in church. Like. Wednesday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like he was in it. But when he got older, he actually experienced abuse from a pastor when he was like in his teenage years. And he's shared this publicly. Now he tries to help other men kind of like talk through and walk through this journey of healing from like, you know, a porn addiction, being abused, sexually abused as a kid and as a, you know, a teenage boy by another man, all that kind of stuff. So he walked into his adult years with a lot of like church hurt and also was just like, I'm not here for this.
And people ruin Jesus for people.
I mean, but the thing is, in his core, he always had a love for God that like no one could disrupt for him. So even, he never even took his first drink until he was like 23. Me, on the other hand, I was 12. Okay, so like, I'm a different type. Okay, I had a different upbringing. Okay, but I say all that to say, like, he really essentially he went out into the world and was like the wayward son. Like he was out in these streets, and especially working for a brand like Nike, he was like out here and very much so like living it up. And it wasn't until we met that we both were like at the peak of both of our experiences in those worlds. So like me as a beauty blogger, beauty influencer, flying all over LA, New York every other week, shooting content, shooting with brands, like doing campaigns, all of that. And getting flown out with brands, like going on trips, all these things.
Y'all were.
Like seriously, we were really like living that life. And even him with Nike, like, you know, just having the access and the, you know, being around certain types of athletes and people and things, we were both like very much so in our own will, in our own kind of ego, pride, all that. And we met like that and loved each other like that. But we also had some toxicity in that, right? So like the fact that we found each other, I think that was the enemy's greatest attack, was trying to keep us away. Like, because he knew when we met, we might have been a mess, but together, like we have grown tremendously. We talk about it all the time. We're like, if we ourselves met us back then, we wouldn't like us. Like we wouldn't want to hang out. We wouldn't be like, oh, they're lame, they boring, they don't do nothing. Like we would have been, that would have been the relationship. But I'm so grateful because like God really gave me a man that led me into this. And one of my biggest moments in my like spiritual walk was this one time when we were in a fight and I was just, I mean, giving it to him, okay?
He was like,
giving it, like...
He's like, I remember everything I said. I wrote it down before the argument.
When you already rounded up.
And I didn't even forget anything.
Yeah, I didn't even forget numbers.
It was one of them ones, okay? And I just gave it to him. And he looked at me, and he just gave me a hug and said, I love you. And I was like...
What'd you do after that? My husband has humbled me that way before as well.
But
like you said sorry too soon.
Right. And then you don't know what to do.
I was dumbfounded.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the first time I experienced God's grace from a person, like in a moment. And it changed me. Like that, and that was literally, I was pregnant with Micah, so this was a few months before the name change and everything, but that was like a cornerstone change that got me on the path, because it was like, we had been talking about church, we had been watching TC, Transformation Church, faithfully since like 2018, but you know, it's different when it's like you're learning about God and learning about Jesus and hearing somebody talk to you about it. You take notes and things like that, but when you start, it's a high tense situation and then you actually operate with one of the fruits of the Spirit, it's like a game changer, you know? And so like that's where we got, and it just shifted both of us. And so we kept growing. Like we had a season where God was like, every Wednesday, y'all gotta be together, and you can't do no work, can't do no this, can't do that, and y'all gotta be together, and y'all gotta do devotion together every day. So like we started, child.
I'm like, dang, God, you giving me a lot of instructions at once.
I was mad.
You gave me a manual. You gave me a manual.
And then, of course, all these instructions are coming from my husband. And I'm like, God told you that?
He didn't tell you that.
Are you sure? Because I just had a baby and I would love to like go back to doing what LipsticknCurls do. You know, but like that was part of it. Was like I had to recognize the God operating in my husband and really trust and submit. And I was kicking and screaming for a lot of that. I was. I really was. But
that's good to admit.
No, truly. Because it wasn't cute, pretty. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not one of those people that just like effortlessly walked through. No,
Yeah.
like it was hard. It was hard.
I think with social media too, it's easy for people to see, like even us doing this talk, like if we didn't say like, yo, it's still very difficult like to do the thing.
Yeah.
And because they start to think, well, maybe, you know, it looks so pretty and it looks so good that maybe I can't do it because I'm struggling too much. Like I'm kicking and screaming a little too much. No, you're not.
Listen,
You just gotta keep going.
That can't be God because it would be easy.
No,
it would be easy.
it's actually gonna be
like it would all just fall in my lap, and I'd be like,
No.
Yeah, absolutely not. Obedience is hard, but
Yes.
obedience is better than sacrifice. So
Yes.
like I'd rather obey
Absolutely.
than give up something that I don't want to give up because I don't want to listen.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like that was part of it was like I wrestled with the obedience part. I mean, it was a point where even like a year or two ago, like my husband has had like ministry prophesied over him since he was a little kid, but he didn't care. He kept doing what he wanted to do, okay?
That's what I mean, that's what I'm saying. It don't matter sometimes.
It don't matter. And so like, so he had that on him. I never got that. I've never been in spaces to even have that spoken on me or anything like that. But his mom started bringing it up around the time when we came back to Dallas because that's, you know, we started being around family again. And there was a point where I was just like, do not say the M word in this house. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to.
I ain't nobody's first lady, main lady.
Okay, because my version was like, you know, I don't go to church like that. I'm not, you know, I'm not in that world. It's not me. I'm, you know, and I really was like very not with it at all. And but also it's like I was scared because I'm like I don't want to be that version. I don't want to be. But it was like I said earlier, it's like. The thing you want before your transformation is not the thing that you want. You know what I mean? Like it's like not gonna be what you expect. It's not gonna be, you know? And so I'm finally at the place where I'm like, I actually realize that like my desires are matched up with God's. And I'm so grateful to be here now because it's way harder when you're fighting what God wants because his will is gonna come. Like it's gonna pass. You can't fight it. You can't avoid it. You have to just go for it, and it's about how you want to manage through it. Like, do you want to kick and scream the whole time?
How do you want to go through it?
Or do you want to just like, you know, and that's how it's been for me. It's like, I've kicked and screamed, but also I'm like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to push into it, push into the resistance, and know that like, God is telling me to do this. He has to sustain it. If I'm building it on him, like he's going to maintain it. Like he's going to, and I'm just stewarding. I'm not responsible for any of this stuff. It's not my burden to carry. It's his. And I'm just, you know, I'm just doing my thing. And there's grace for me along the journey. And that's it, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever feel like there was a place where you got stuck? And you had to like literally crawl out?
Oh, man. I think... Honestly, if I could say if there was like, I don't think there was necessarily a part of my journey that has been like a stuck moment. It's definitely been I think I'm not giving myself enough credit because I think like even the amount I've changed in like 2 or 3 years has been very exponential compared to other people's journey and not to be comparative in that way, but to tell myself like I thought I was crawling and dragging myself and in all actuality I was walking swiftly.
Yeah.
And even though it felt like a dragged out, you know, I'm getting dragged here, dragged there in my body, like spiritually, I was just filling myself up everywhere I could go. And like, yes, in the beginning, I did not want to listen to worship music 24/7. I was actually irritated. Like Mark would literally, oh my God.
It was something else.
Yes, it was a season where he was playing it 24/7 in our house, and I was just like, my God, if I hear this Maverick City song one more time, I'm just not.
And you know, that was like the only worship music that existed
Especially
during the pandemic,
especially with New Christian.
Yes.
New Christian?
Yes.
Like Maverick City is Christian.
There's like
the
other
gospel
music?
Oh my gosh, yes. And so, but I realized later on as I grew, it was like, it was me that didn't like it, but it was also the spirits in me that I still needed to get out, that still were making their way out. And so
music speaks to you subconsciously.
Yes.
What you listen to moves you. Like you said, so it was the
100%.
spirits. They didn't like that.
They did not
They didn't
like
want you to hear it.
No, they did not. They absolutely did not. And
You
so
don't wanna
I
be
had
burned
to.
by fire?
Right.
She said, I don't want to be tried by the
No,
fire.
listen.
Don't purify me.
Right. That part. Okay.
You're like, I skipped that part.
Oh
Right.
my God. Yes. Like, no, please don't. Because I think like it's the other piece of it too, right? Where you think about like, what God has planned out for you and your purpose, and all the enemy can do is like delay it or like, you know, distract you or whatever. And I think a lot of people stay distracted because the distractions are so comfortable and work so well. And even sometimes the distractions used to be God's blessings, but now we've kept running with the ball and we were supposed to pass it, you know, 2-3 years ago. So like you're out of step and all of that. But it's like you have to recognize that like the path for you is going to be better than what you can imagine, what you can put together for yourself. It is beyond what you have the capacity to understand. And if you're not doing that, then you're always going to fall into seasons where it's just like, this don't feel right. This don't look right. This thing that I built, it was great. And then it just crashed down. And like, why am I going back and forth where I feel like I'm successful? Yeah. And it's like, Lord is like, I was trying to get your attention before you took that left turn and started building something that I wasn't involved. I never told you to do.
And if you don't do it, your kids have like generational curses. So it's like if you do try to avoid it and you make it to 60, 70, whatever, like it don't leave your family.
No,
so then
it's
your
on
children now got to go through the whole process.
Yes,
of
and it's
healing
always
to
going to be
change it.
harder. It's always going to be harder for them because it's like the
they gotta get over the
generational
trauma
curse.
too.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I got to backpedal before I can start really pedaling, and like the enemy is after you generationally. So he been trying to come for you since way back when.
Yes,
Okay,
back when.
and he knows your lineage better than you do.
Yeah.
And I think like that's one of the worst misconceptions, not worst, maybe most dangerous ones, is like, especially our age and like our generation is like, well, if I make the decision, it's about my life and about my kids. And it's like, hold on, you playing a game. You think it's checkers, it's really chess.
Yeah.
And the enemy's been playing chess with your family specifically because he saw you coming down the pipeline
Way
20
back when.
generations ago, and he's
Yes.
like, however I can move these pieces to make sure that she don't get to where she's supposed to be at that time with that person, then great.
I'm gonna give her more of this because she
Right.
liked it.
And I know she liked it because her grandmama liked it, and you know what I mean? All of that stuff. So it's like this whole like concept of like just focusing on the right now and like just your life is just, it's such a misconception and a deception for our like generation because we think, well, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And it's like, baby, no, there's a bigger game, not even bigger game. There's a bigger plan at play that like, if you don't do your part, then God's will going to get done regardless. Like, best believe he going to make it happen, but it could have been you.
Yep. And that's very important because Crystal, where my girl Crystal, she know, I talked about this once. Like people think what's for you will always be for you, but it's about God.
Yeah.
He will have somebody else do it.
Yes.
Because it's for his glory, not your glory. So you don't want to listen?
Period. We'll move on.
And it doesn't mean he won't find something good for you when you get there. But he'll give it to somebody. He'll use somebody else. Because if he needs it done in that moment, it's going to get done in that moment.
Yep. And it's not going to be with you. And like that's my thing. I'm like, let it be you. Like, let it be you. And don't miss out. Because you will miss out on something great if you don't align yourself with what God has for you. Yeah.
Wow. Well, before we wrap, because you have given us all the things, plus the moms. Actually, honestly, I think this episode specifically is going to speak to all of our aunties. All, like, it's going to speak to every woman.
Their husband's going to be in the background
the
too.
husbands, it's literally going to be for everyone.
Yeah.
Because you're speaking about the way a woman evolves. And yes, there's motherhood, and yes, there's, being a wife, but there's something about when we submit to the transition, submit to evolving the way God always called us to, evolve. And so my last thing before we wrap this is just going to ask you, what would you say to a mom or just a woman in general that feels like they're right in that place that you were right before you changed your name from Lipstick and Curls to Jade Godbolt?
Ooh. Okay. What would I say to you if you're in that place? Do it afraid. Do it without a plan. Your plan is not going to work. It's not. You might as well give it up. God will tell you exactly what move to make every step of the way. Trust him. Guard your heart. Guard your eyes. Guard your ears. Because the enemy's going to be coming after you. And you've got to be ready for that. And the enemy will operate through people. So if you have people that don't have faith like you, start distancing. hone in on the people that know what it is for real. And if it's one person, it's one person. And if it's no one, God will send help. God will send help. So just give yourself that space and do it afraid.
Thank you, Jade.
Thank y'all. This is great.
This is good. This is
So
gems.
good.
You gotta bring back gems.
Yeah, this is good.
This is really good.
Wow.
Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. We hope you share with other mothers,
Yes.
aunties, husbands. This episode, you don't want anybody to miss out on it. So make sure when you're done, you subscribe, you like, and share.
Yes. Make sure you subscribe.
Yes.
Share it with someone. Leave us some comments.
Yes.
And, chat with us and all the things. But thank you so much for watching, Moms. Actually, we're Motherhood meets Sisterhood.
Hey, Mom. What's up? Hey, Mom.